Welcome to another edition of Extra Connections here on GLG Media. I'm James Lott Jr. So I get to combine two things that I just feel strongly about. Our military, I come from a military family, and I feel strongly about that, and our veterans, and music. I like both. And this person is merging the two. He's been a recording artist for a while now. We're going to talk about that and that whole career. He's also a Navy veteran. Thank you for your service, sir. And about that. But he has this project that he's combining the two, okay, in a way that I've never seen before, and for kids and their families. It's called Dandelion. If you're listening to us, you can't see it. If you're watching us, it's behind him in his background. But it's a whole. There's a reason what he does back there is right there, and he talks. We're going to talk about why Dandelion. I know why, but why Dandelion with that, and then what the project's about. I'm very excited. Help me welcome Greg Lato. Hi, Greg.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, again, I said again, thank you for your service. I think anybody who serves our country, you deserve whatever you need for us to help you in society. Is whatever you want, you should have it. I feel that's what I'm having said. I feel very strongly about that. So thank you.
Thank you very
Also,
much.
I make music too. I love music, so I'm very excited to talk to you about these projects and stuff. But I want to start out first with your service. So you are a Navy veteran. You are a Navy veteran.
Right.
Give us a little bit of overview of what how long you were in, and that kind of stuff. What your rank was, all that.
So I was in the United States Navy for 4 years, and I was an aircraft firefighter on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier.
Oh wow!
So the USS Constellation, which is no more, that ship. But I was in for 4 years, from 1996 to 2000.
Okay.
And I was stationed in San Diego, Coronado.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I just had an amazing time, met a lot of amazing people that I'm still in contact with today due to social media. So yeah, I mean, traveled to many different countries twice over. So just had a lot of amazing experiences at a young age. And yeah, very proud of my service. As the years go on, I get more and more proud of serving the country, as I get older.
Well, how does it feel when somebody like me says thank you for your service, and we're telling how strongly we feel about veterans? How does that make you feel? I mean,
Um, I mean, it makes me feel great. But I'm just very proud of what I've done. And, it's like looking back, it's like I can't believe I did it. It's like all the things that I went through. Um, that, it's just amazing to me when I look back that I went through all those experiences. That's why I said it just makes you more proud as the years go on, of accomplishing the things that I did while I was in the military. I tried to really make the best of it and get the most out of my time. I got my college degree while I was in too, as well. I had credits before I went in that were leading towards a degree, but I actually finished through courses on the ship. And it was kind of like the beginning of the online course
oh, yes,
thing.
yes.
So I really took advantage of that while I was there. And actually, my graduation was on the flight deck.
Oh,
It's pretty
that's
cool.
cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool, actually. I like that. Uh,
Yeah.
why the Navy? We have several branches. Just curious why the Navy?
At the time, I wanted to be a firefighter, and I just I knew somebody that was in the Navy. Um, and it was just like a friend of the family's. And I was thinking about it, and they were like, "Oh, just come and meet with me, and I'll talk to you about my experience, and just let you know the opportunities." So it's kind of like the friend of the family was like my recruiter, so to
Uh-huh.
speak. And I really did want to be a firefighter at the time, and I just saw the most opportunity, and the most probability that I would get on a fire department and uh, start off with aircraft firefighting. I actually wanted to be a firefighter at an airport. So, that's what I was looking at while I was still doing music my whole life, but kind of just like took a sidetrack there and had that goal. And so it was very enticing to me to get into that field. And then when I went to meet with the recruiter, they only reaffirmed, all of the answered all the questions, and I was really excited to start the journey with the idea that when I got out of the Navy, I was going to be a firefighter.
My parents were airport police. Just speaking a little side note about
Okay, wow. All right.
retired, both retired airport police. So it's funny. I've never heard anybody say specifically they want to be a firefighter at the airport. We know they exist and they're there, obviously. Um,
Yeah.
but I can tell you, my parents both did. My father was a Navy man. Then he went into airport police.
Wow. Okay. So you literally were making connections here.
Yeah, exactly. So
Drawing connections.
that is possible. I mean, I talk to them all the time. The airport needs fire people, and the airport needs police. I mean,
Yeah.
they need all of that. So it's and like doctors and medicals, all kinds of stuff on airports. Where are you from originally?
I am from Rhode Island.
That's right. So Rhode Island.
So
I can hear it in there. I can hear it in
you
there.
can hear the accent,
Yes,
right?
I've been to Rhode Island before, so I've
Okay.
been to Providence, and I liked it.
Well,
Um,
I grew up in Providence and now I live in Narragansett, which is closer to the beaches.
yeah, and I have another friend who's from there also. He's in the entertainment business, and it's like Rhode Island, it's like so small. It's like it's just a small
Yeah.
little country. Like,
Everybody knows everyone knows a guy
yeah, I mean,
in Rhode Island, it's like
totally. And you're total East Coast because my family's from New York, so I mean, you're East. I can tell you're East Coast guy. You're East Coast.
Yeah, and those roots never leave you. Like when I was stationed in San Diego, I was like it was almost like two other people I was in the Navy with. I was like a cartoon character or like a somebody they see on TV, like from a Goodfellas or Sopranos, like you know what I mean? It was like that's what I was to them because they never really heard or met anybody like me from where I was from. So it was literally like I was jumping out of the movie screen, and we would all joke about that all the time, because we were all
Well,
from different places.
and well, you had the California. I'm in LA, so you had the California experience. So did you like the sun and the warm weather and all that?
I loved it. Yeah, I mean, I loved it, but not to live
Yeah,
like, make a life
yeah,
over time.
yeah.
I mean, I do still visit there because I made connections in LA while I was in the Navy with the music.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah,
So, that's kind of like how things turned around for me, and it kind of steered more towards the music.
yes.
But, I do visit there. I go to the Grammy Awards pretty much every year. So I go back at least once a year.
Yes.
My wife is from California. I met her while I was in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
So she was going to UCSD.
Oh, yes. Good school.
And so we go back to see her family too. So yeah, I mean, still have make visits frequently to there, but I'm an East Coast person at heart. And I was while I was there, and just never really you never lose it. It's always in you.
My mother will tell you she's been here now longer than she was in New York, but she's still a New Yorker. She'll tell you she's still a New Yorker. I mean, just it doesn't go away. But here's the thing. So about Rhode Island, briefly, I just want to say I like your governor. I've heard him before. But also, I don't. What is Rhode Island? I mean, we don't know much about it. Like outside of it's a small state.
Yeah,
We don't even know, and it's not an island. Not really.
right.
Oh, as long
Yeah.
as we know. I mean, what is something you think we should know about Rhode Island? I mean, maybe that would is that's unique about it or something.
It's just like a community as a state, you know what I mean? It's like whereas you go to other states and it's just because they're so big, like it's like not everybody knows everybody. It's like just maybe in like neighborhoods, but overall, like the whole state, you could go anywhere in the state and I'm sure like somebody who knows someone or there's some connection to, it's like
So,
it, everyone kind of knows everyone or knows someone that knows
yes,
a
yeah.
certain family. So, and obviously we're known for great food, especially Italian food. There are Italian communities like Federal Hill in Providence that has fantastic food, and is known for that. People come from,
Yeah.
celebrities go to
Yeah.
eat there, they have favorite restaurants in Rhode Island.
I had good, I had good pasta in Rhode Island. I did. I had good pasta there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So to me, I mean, I'm biased, but like nothing is like the food in Rhode Island. Even like if I go to New York, Boston, it's just something about the food in Rhode Island that's just for me is the best.
I love it.
Although I do love Boston.
It was,
Um,
oh, you had the whole, well,
yeah,
North End. About food. I mean, Italian food.
North End is the best. Yeah, it's one of the best. I have favorite restaurants there, of course.
Yes.
But Rhode Island's like there are communities like Federal Hill is like a small North End. It's like, it always has been known as that. So they have like Italian feasts, every year and um, known for sausage sandwiches, sausage
It
and
sounds good to
peppers.
me. Like, Greg, you're speaking my language. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's all good. And obviously the beaches, we're the ocean state, so we're known for beautiful beaches and Newport, we have the mansions and there's just so much, marine life and so we have like kind of like city life and we also have beach life and we have woodsy areas too. So it's kind of like in a small state, there's like the best of everything. If you want to live in the country, we have farms, we have country land that you can live among, inner cities, and we have beaches.
It's so fun. I had
What
friends.
more could you want? Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want? I know I love it. I do. I love it. And Rhode Island is proud of me. I'm sure they hear it. If anybody from Rhode Island hears this, he was a great advocate for Rhode Island. I love it.
Oh, I hope so. I
Yeah,
try to be.
you're good. No, you're good. Okay, so now we go into the music part because so you were a veteran and all that stuff, and so I'm gonna go through some of your albums. So I listened to all your albums.
Oh, okay.
When I went
Wow.
on Spotify and I had them all because I have two computers here, and I was like over here I have my music, and I was going through it. And so first we'll start. So folks at home, the first album that you get to listen to is from 2009. We're talking 16
Oh,
years
yeah.
ago.
Before children's music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you look the same though. To me, you look the same. I mean, you're not aging at all. I just see it, but
Oh, thanks.
I was like, well, I was like, okay, and it was very much, when I say adult, I don't mean like adult, but just like it was like a grown up album about grown
Yeah.
up relationships and stuff. Very great. But the album that I actually really enjoyed from those early years was from 2018. Your Cassetting Sons, great title,
Oh,
great
that was
title.
my yacht rock album.
And my favorite song was Lost in Your Love. And I was gonna say it's very, you said yeah, like I said, very 70s and early 80s.
Which is my thing. It's like
Which which
my favorite era of music is like late 70s, early 80s, which kind of falls into that yacht rock
yes,
era.
yes, yeah.
That's my favorite kind of music. I love all kinds of music. I mean, I'm all over the place, really. My playlists are
Yes.
like heavy rock to R&B, like, it's everywhere and in between, okay?
Yes.
So, but my favorite is yacht rock. And, I collect albums, I collect vinyl, and when I go to record stores, I frequent them wherever I travel.
Me too.
And I'm always looking for the obscure yacht rock album.
I was gonna pull one out because I mean I should
Okay.
here. I mean I should get to my background, but I just for my birthday was last weekend and I went record shopping. That was my favorite thing to do
Yeah.
in LA, and I found a bunch of stuff from
Where'd you
that
go?
time. So in LA we have
Yeah.
Amoeba, which is huge.
Yes. Which I go to every year.
Yeah, so it's good. But we have smaller ones throughout. 'Cause I live near the airport, LAX airport. So we have a place called Sound Station. It's here in
Yeah.
Westchester.
Yep.
I was like, you know that one. We also have one. There's one. There's actually I should mention that one I went to also out in Tarzana. It's called CD Trainer. It's in
Yes.
Tarzana. There's
Yep.
a parking lot area to go inside there. But also where I live, down where I live, we also have Radar Records and there was the one called Rough Beat Records. All these little record stores that like in Torrance, Hawthorne, Gardena.
Where are you located?
I'm in Inglewood.
Okay. All right.
By LAX. I'm by the water, by LAX, in that
Yep.
area. So there's a bunch. South Station's 5 minutes away from my house. So we know the guys there. We go over there. And we just went record shopping. We just kind of went around and
Yeah.
got to find some stuff. Because I have a record player. I have a cassette player. I have an 8-track player that still works, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
I do. So I keep things in shape. But when you mentioned yacht rock, have you watched that documentary that's out
Oh
on
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it.
But they
Uh,
tell you some folks aren't yacht rock, but they're from that, like they say Hall and Notes is in the heart as in yacht rock. They're more
well, they
blue
they
eyed soul.
shun they shun the label,
Yes.
like Steely Dan does as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Um, but I mean, yacht rock is just like a bunch of guys that rate it, as yacht on yacht,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So really it's just like a rating scale that a group of people judge on,
Yes.
so it's not for the artist to say
Yeah.
whether they're yacht rock or not. It's that group of people, So I think why shun it? Because it only helps more people to be exposed to your music. I get it if you've been around for 50 years and you don't need any new fans.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You might say that, but I think that most people should embrace it because it's just another way to get your music out there, especially music that is 40 to 50 years old. It's like, and it allows young people to listen to the music and discover it as well, which should be the goal, to span generations.
Yep. I agree.
So I think it's a good thing, even though it's could be silly at times, but I love it personally because it exposes. I've been listening to yacht rock before it was called yacht
Right.
rock
Yeah. Same here. Yeah. Yeah.
when it wasn't cool,
Right.
so
Yes.
now that it's cool again, I like that, so it only validates my musical taste.
Yes. Why they reflect? So why I bring this stuff up? And like I said, I wrote that. Then you had album, and then your first album with children stuff was 2020 with Create My Own World, which had
Yes.
that album was because you had spoken word pieces in between.
Right.
Oh, um,
Yeah.
and then 2022 came out, and you had the Halloween song I like, and then this why I bring it all up is that I noticed all your musical tastes are in these songs. So I'm saying people at home listen to the music's really good. Like listen to and not just for kids or adults, but just go to listen to the music because you can tell and tell me if I'm right or wrong. I can tell your influences are in these songs.
Yeah, I can't hide that. It's like actually the children's music I do is not that much different
No,
from music I was doing before. It's just the
no,
lyrical content is changed geared towards kids and families. Um, which there's no shortage of song ideas. There's only so many songs you can write about relationships and that whole thing. And, how many ways can you say the same thing,
I know. How many ways you say I love you? I always say that's always your thing.
Yeah, it's only so many ways that have been done and that you could think of.
Yes.
Like, you as in us, all of us, right? So what I'm saying is like once I had kids, okay? I would just make up funny things to stuff that they would do. I have two daughters that are 11 and 8 now. Um, but I've been writing children's music since they were toddlers, okay, now, since before COVID.
Yep.
And I would just come up with funny things to what they would do and just make songs out of them. But the actual music itself is pretty much the same as what I was doing before. And another thing about children's music is within one album, you can explore many different genres. Whereas with the stuff I was doing before, you pretty much have to stay within a certain box. Now I can have many different styles on one album, which I love because my musical styles are all over the place. So I get to just have fun.
That's a good point. Because when you put albums together as an adult, they want a theme. And the sound kind of needs
Right.
to stay consistent. With kids, it's just kids, and we know that for a lot of kid albums, it's like you go from rock to pop to slow to rap, you do whatever you want on kid
Yeah.
albums. And he's right, folks at home. His music is basically the same. It's just the lyrics are different, and How
Right.
much? I mean, is it? So his biggest song on Spotify is called "I Love Sprinkles."
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I first thought it was the cupcake company here in California. No, it's just he likes sprinkles,
Yeah.
type of stuff. I love it. I love that it's a hit. I love that it was a hit. It was this whole thing. So when you come before we get to the Dandelion album, but these other albums, how did you come to picking what? Like, so you're just making up songs for your kids. How did you come to actually write songs for kids?
It's just like observing my kids at first. They were putting sprinkles on everything. They were putting on pancakes, they were putting them on all kinds of things. But then I kind of like took it a step further and, made it silly. Like, what about sprinkles on a hamburger, on a hot dog, on French fries, which they don't do, but I just made it like to add a bit of humor to it, you know? So I kind of like take themes that I see from my kids and just expand upon them and just kind of like make them blow them out of proportion, I guess.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
It's what ages are you kind of going for? You say children. Is it under 11, under 12? Is it three to? Is there an age group you're looking for?
Yeah, I would say like 11, 10, 11 is like kind of the cutoff age. Because my daughter is 11 and at 11 they start listening to
Yep.
current pop kind of
Tween.
stuff.
Tween.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So once you get into the tween age, that's where it gets a little bit too I'm too young for that. So yeah, anything from like 0 to through elementary school. I do shows for daycare kind of stuff and most of my shows are at elementary schools, in family festivals
Got it.
for that age group, I guess.
I was trying to somebody the other day because I have friends who are breaking into the children's book market also.
Okay.
You have some books out too.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I was thinking the children's market is huge, and when it's almost like the holiday market. When you get in, you're in. Like it's pretty
Yeah.
much you start getting in there, you can have a successful career. It's like you're saying you're performing at places where students are. I think it's very cool that you put out these albums and you're performing places because it can be there's a whole market for it, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of variety of places you could perform, and get exposure. And I just love the audience, at the shows. First of all, I love that the shows are usually during the day.
That's always good. Yeah.
They're on like a Saturday
Oh
afternoon,
yeah.
that's which is my time. It's like I'm a morning person,
It's good.
so I can't hang at 11 o'clock at night at a club.
Oh,
It's like, but so I'm glad like things have worked out in this space because the hours are great and I love the audience too. It's like, immediate feedback for your songs. It's like the back and forth you have during the show with the kids. It's very interactive, my show. So I love that too, which is you don't get, at 11 o'clock at night at a bar. It's like, or, at a venue. Um, so I just love the whole experience of being a children's artist. I love performing for families and just think there should be more of that. It's wholesome content that it's for everybody, no matter what, your background, no matter what your beliefs are. My music is for everybody.
we like that. We need more of that. So leading into Dandelion, which is your songs inspired by military kids and families. When I heard about this project, I thought this is very cool. And Dandelion, of course, if you're a military family, you understand this. It's a term for kids, military kids,
Yeah,
correct?
it's the official flower of the military child, because of its resilience as a flower. It could grow anywhere. When it blows, as you can see behind me, it goes where the wind takes it. So just like military kids, they move around a lot. They're always at a new school. They're have to adapt and change to different environments.
And so what I heard is that you actually talk to a military family with kids
Yes.
for each song. Explain
Yeah.
that.
So what I did was I set up meetings with military families that had kids that were in elementary school to middle school age. Um, and what I would do is sit down with them. All the meetings are filmed. I brought a videographer with me to film all the there's tons of content for this album. I would sit down with them and just have a conversation, ask them questions, and just let it just flow into what we're doing right now. It's just like a free form conversation and pick their brain about military life, ask the kids questions and just let them talk, and listen to them.
Well,
And from that, I got so many song ideas. I got, a lot of insight into what it was like because I was genuinely interested. That's why I started the project. I was interested based on my ex military experience all those years ago. My interest has always been there. I just never was able to tie it into with the music
yeah.
until I got had this idea. So this was a perfect time, and I listened to their stories and I wrote songs based on whatever we talked about.
Are there some common themes that came through for you while talking to them?
Yeah. So common themes were being the new kid at school. So that was definitely a common theme. Some of the families, one particular family, the kids haven't been in a school for longer than a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
So constantly moving, going to from school to school, starting over. Once you year and a half, and then you start over again. Just think about what that's like. I
Right.
don't know what that's like. So I wanted to know, right from the kids, do you like it? What does home mean to you? Was a common question I would ask them. And I would get different answers from different families.
Wow.
So that was interesting to me. I wrote a song called Home is Not a Place to document that particular question. Hi, I'm new here opens the album,
I like,
and that was about being the new kid at school.
I like that.
So yeah,
That's very
those
cool.
are common themes.
Yeah, that's very. I think that's a again never heard that before. Where you actually, so you actually get you had several things. You kind of have a documentary too, also.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're putting together content. I put a little highlight documentary of just the meetings with the families. And then I also have content. I did like a week-long songwriting workshop for 20 military kids at a middle school, and I brought my recording equipment to the auditorium and left it there for the week. And would go back every day and do the songwriting workshop and then have them record parts for songs. And I interviewed them too, and so there's content from that whole experience as well.
I love that. And you're also wildlife this project. You're giving back to the kids. You're giving back to the families. And I always say this: arts are important in schools, school
Yes.
programs, whether it's dance, music, painting, drawing, I mean, whatever it is. Music is, of course, I side more with music. Um, it's prone and shown to that the kids test higher in other areas because of
Yes.
music.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah,
Studies show that kids excel in other subjects, math, science, reading, comprehension, all of that, when they have arts programs in the schools.
yeah.
Uh, so I think like, I'm definitely a champion for the arts in schools. And in the future, I do want to get more into that after this project.
Yeah.
I do want to kind of do something with that to promote more arts in schools because I think it's so very important. It helped me in my development. So, I know it does it for millions of other kids, and to cut those programs, usually that's where they go first. When
Yes,
they cut programs in schools, they go right for the music and theater programs. Uh, but hopefully, they can see the importance of that. We need more people to show them the importance.
I played sports as a kid and I did music as a kid, and I will tell you both. taught me discipline. Both taught me team play, playership. You
Yep.
play in a band. It taught me a lot of stuff, and it got me out the house. We played games we played games or played games. If I was
Right, right.
music, it just both taught me a lot. That was just that's
Yeah.
and like you said, they'll cut the music ones first. Like, no, 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 wait a minute. The art's like, no, they're just as good as the sports stuff too. It may manifest differently, but it's like it's still you learn. You still use your creative side. It's good for kids too. There are a lot of
Right.
creative kids up there.
Yeah, if I didn't do drama club, I was in the drama club and I did like musical theater in school. I would not be doing music
Right.
now if there were if there wasn't a program for that because it got me out of my shell. I was very shy in school. I didn't talk to anybody at first, and then I started going into like the talent shows in
Oh,
school. They had talent shows before American Idol.
yes, we did too. We did too. Yes.
Before it was popular,
Yes.
I would go into the talent shows and then I was part of the drama club and would be in all the productions. And that kind of showed me what I can do. And it shows you what you can do through your peers, through performing in front of an audience for the first time. So all of that helped me in my development and got me out of my shell socially too, not just with music but also in life, to be able to speak in front of a crowd, of an audience, or, just social skills, networking skills, all of that, which is so needed in any profession that you go into.
That's very true. I know. I just so Dandelion has how many songs?
So there are 13 songs. There's one song that's kind of like a short interlude, but there are 13 tracks.
Those 13 families you talked to? Or how-
No, I spoke with 7 families.
Okay.
And I kind of like doubled up on some of the songs. And there's a couple songs that's, because I'm a veteran, so I use that too. I have a song about veterans on the album, and just a song about my experience with my kids being a parent.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of like some of the families, I kind of doubled up, like where one song is about what we talked about amongst like a couple of the families,
Okay.
kind of thing. Yeah.
So do you have two boys, two girls, or
I have
something?
2 girls.
So as a person who had two girls myself,
Okay.
they're now grown. I'm a grandfather now. They're even kids.
All right.
But I had two girls, and they were a year apart in age.
Okay.
So I'll tell you, it was the childhood part was the best parts. I will tell you. In teenage years, so they were pretty bad.
Yeah.
But they were super bad. But it's very interesting because I always like to pass this on to just the fathers, but you have just girls. You will learn so much that you won't even realize till later. And so there's some things you gotta learn about yourself as a man that I
Yeah.
I am very grateful to my daughters for teaching me. Just I know for a fact that and I feel like for you because you're an artist like I am, you're an artist. They help you probably in ways to be in tune, right, with your feelings and stuff. Is that true? False? What's that for you?
Sure. Yeah. I think I was the type to already kind of be like that. I've always kind of been like that anyway. I grew up with all girls pretty much.
Okay.
I have a sister, and then I had cousins most of my cousins were girls. So I was like the only boy, other than like another cousin that we had.
Yeah.
But in the immediate family, I was the only boy.
Okay. Okay. So you're ready. You're ready. Okay. You're right. I have a lot of sisters too, but I had brothers also, but I had a lot of sisters.
Yeah, I was always like I never played a lot of sports because I was always into music. And at a young age, I was just like writing melodies, sitting in my room, listening to records, taking them all in. But I tried sports and it didn't really work out.
Okay.
So I didn't get into that community.
Yeah.
I tried, but I didn't really immerse myself in that whole community, which I am in now because my daughter plays soccer, she plays flag football, she plays basketball,
Yeah.
my older daughter. So I love going to the games. I love being in that community. I actually enjoy it because I never really did it as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
My girls are they're both were. My one daughter was into water polo, which I was like,
Oh, that's pretty
she had
cool.
bigger arms than I did when she was in high
That's
school.
cool. Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? We were all swimmers. My family were a bunch of swimmers and all that stuff. But when she said I would do water polo and the school offered it, I was like, sure, well, I'll pay for that. Like, let's try it. And she had upper body strength that was crazy. I was like, at 16, I was like, okay, girl,
Oh,
scaring daddy a little bit. And then my other daughter was into volleyball and soccer, the usual stuff. So I mean, my girls were very much into sports too. They're very, very much into sports.
my
Love it.
younger daughter loves cheerleading. That's her thing.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we started going to like the cheer competitions this
Well,
year.
those are sports too, kids. People don't
Oh
realize
yeah. Oh
sports.
yeah.
Woo!
Yes.
Some competitions like they are for real. They're not
I
kidding.
know.
That's very cool. So Dandelion, when does it come out?
So it comes out May 23rd.
Okay, that's why we're doing this interview now because it's coming out like in a week or so.
Soon, yes.
So when it's come, I can't remember what day this is coming out for sure, but it's if it's past 23rd and you're listening to this or watching it, it's out already. If it's
Yes.
I coming out shortly. I never remember how that goes. So I'm very excited. Do you have any plans are there any kind of external plans for promoting it besides like, here it is, everybody? Do you have anything coming up?
So I'm just planning on releasing more content from this album. I got shows coming up too.
Oh, good.
So I'm ready for those. I'm doing like a family festival in June. I have shows all summer pretty much.
Oh, yeah, congratulations. Good.
Thank you. I'm doing a residency at a camp. I'm doing library shows and stuff. So I'm pretty well booked for the summer. So I'm also just going to be releasing more music videos. I did a music video for another for Old School New School, which is on the album, which has all military kids. I just put that out, and then next week I'm putting out. It's like a brain break video for
Oh,
schools and for kids,
yeah.
uh, with a song called "Dippin' Chicken."
I saw the headline.
So
I saw it. I follow my Instagram and stuff, so you can see it on yeah, it was made me laugh. It was fun.
So I just started teasing that video, which is coming out on the 19th. So yeah, I'm just going to be rolling out more content and just getting this album out there. I'd like to do more with military kids as time goes on
Yeah,
and just get more involved.
yeah. Very good. Well, Dandelion is the album. Greg Lato is on. He's on social media under that. He's also I found him on Spotify. I'm sure he's on Apple and all that too. But if you want to find him there, you just type in his name. I'll put links below for stuff, and you can find. Let's say because I say listen to his old albums too. Listen to those also. They're good. They're good. They're good. Like I said, his music you'll kind of be like amazed because throughout the three albums and the singles the music is all about the same. It's just the lyrics and content are literally different. That's all it is. I think that's very, very cool, Greg. That's very cool. I'll just say if you could say it out loud, if they want to follow your stuff, go ahead and promote yourself.
So it's Greg Lato Music is my handle on all social media accounts. Just type in Greg Lato Music anywhere, TikTok, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's all Greg Lato Music. And then GregLatoDandelion.com is the site for the project, which has like a one-stop shop for all the videos, all the music, and everything is on that website.
And I'll put those below, folks. You can
Oh, cool. Thanks.
for that. Thanks, Greg, for being on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. This was awesome. Thank you for having me.
My
I
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Folks, Extra Connections. Here we're on Facebook under Extra Connection Show. JLJ Media and James Lott Jr. myself are everywhere else. I mean, everywhere. And then I have music too. Go to any of your fake, go to Spotify, Apple Music, James Lott Jr. You'll find my music also. Not children's music, but it's some fun stuff that's out there. I have out there going out there.
Cool.
But support, folks. Support the arts. Just in any form. I think any kind of creativity, no matter what it is. I think let's try to keep them in schools, keep them at camps and daycares and centers, and let's try to keep some of those programs up. And if you have a talent of your own and want to give some time back to your community, maybe find a way to do that. I support that completely. I'm James Lott Jr. We'll talk to you next time.